you check the children. Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is what
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Jaime Fuego here.
And I'm Davey Deathray.
And we are here once again to discuss the newest episode of It. Welcome to Derry.
6.
Yes, this is episode number 6, and
Is in the name of the Father?
I
was
think
the
it's
title of it?
already safe to say that this is a stronger season of television than Alien was.
Yeah.
I think very much that's the case. I had to throw in my little Alien
Peter
series
Pan.
joke in the middle of
Weekly alien jab.
yeah, God damn it, it's so easy. But this is a strong episode once again to me.
Agreed.
I really, really loved a lot of this episode. Again, I made a comment during the watch along, which, by the way, if you're watching this review and you haven't watched our watch along, we've done a weekly watch along, all except for 1 week on this channel. Davey's done it every single week. You definitely check out the watch along on both channels and give some love to both channels here. But we do this we do this weekly watch along, and it has been an interesting thing to experience, just like the Alien one was. But this has been a much more positive experience because I have really loved, and what I was going to say is, I mentioned during the episode that this is the first time, or one of the first times, where anytime a flashback happens, I'm like, ooh, because there's like more lore that's going to be dropped in my lap. So I really love the way the story is playing out. I think, some of it is a bit, ham-fisted, and I've been on board for basically everything as a little off as some things have been up till this point, until the last 7 minutes of this episode, where all of a sudden it felt like we were in almost I'm not gonna say that. If there weren't kids involved, it's almost like the XXX version of a movie. You know what I mean? Where it's like all of a sudden weird shit is happening that doesn't happen in big budget things. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? What is going on here? But yeah, so outside of that, I really loved it, and I quite loved specifically the Pennywise bits in this. I mean, again, I'm such a Pennywise gobbler at this point, as far as the Skarsgård Pennywise, and I'll be the first to admit it. I love it, and while I am becoming decreasingly loving of the run at the camera gimmick, because I swear to God, every fucking episode there's at least 1 to 2 instances of it. Yeah, and it was very predictable when it was going to happen this time.
Yeah, it was.
But still, that's a thing that Pennywise does, is run at the camera. But yeah, it's
Even when Mucchetti's not directing.
yeah. So I'm enjoying so much of this because specifically I loved the black and white presentation of the memory here, and I made a joke during it. I don't know if it went over some people's heads or not. No one acknowledged my funny in the comments.
No one gets me.
I said some directors should make a movie about World War II with the same style, because Schindler's List is black and white with only a red dress in it. So, yeah, I liked the black and white with just the red balloon and the red blood, as well as the yellow Pennywise eyes. The grayscale Pennywise with the yellow eyes is one of my favorite images of this version of Pennywise that I've seen yet. And that's across both movies and now 6 episodes of this show. Granted, as was revealed, the Pennywise we got in the first half of the show wasn't exactly Pennywise. It was Periwinkle-wise. But I really, really loved the visuals of that bit of Pennywise, and I love the lore, and I am done rambling. Forgive me. Someone else jumped in.
That's the review. We're out, guys.
Yeah, shit.
I'm going to head back
My
to
overall
Phoenix
thoughts were all-encompassing thoughts.
Yeah, I was impressed with this, man, and especially because of the fact that in many of these episodes we've had our 2 dueling big set piece CGI laden scare sort of tactics and whatnot. And this one, well, it went about it in a tactful manner. When we had the gray with the girl being let in and everything, and not actually seeing what's transpiring, and just the like blood going under the door and things of that nature. The whole power of suggestion and the sound design in that, where you hear bones crunching and all that other shit, I thought was pretty awesome. And it did a little bit of a pivot, a little bit of a revelation with Kirsch, and I was okay with it, because it seemed plausible enough. When I did my Wicked for Good review recently, I was like, okay, plausible prologue is one thing. It's when you start contradicting, overlapping things, and kind of taking a shit on the lore that was there long before what you're trying to do.
Oh my god,
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And so for that reason, like, I can look, down on some of those things where they make a very deliberate decision to, just go against what was already very much in place. And with source material by Cy King, so beloved to me, I think everything that they have done has been, that essence of possibility and just kind of filling in a skeletal structure. And with this, I was totally okay with it. I thought the kids were all good. The drama didn't seem quite as mellow, fisted whateverness. I could sense the splintering. I thought the Rich and Marge little bit was cute. Their little blossoming romance was sweet. I enjoyed that. And once again, the actor playing Dick Halloran, man, the way he can just in a single scene, go from just like stern and gruff and pissed off to just the vulnerability and just almost like a
Scared
frail,
little boy,
frightened kind of kid. I thought it was really great. The tie-ins with Dr. Sleep that they revealed at the end of the last episode with the box and everything, I thought were very, very tastefully connected. It's all King's multiverse at the end of the day, and it's doing a much better job than Castle Rock. So, the fact that they were able to propel the story forward, have some surprises, and a lot of us know where this is going with where the episode ended, but aside from those last few episodes of, hey kid, see you got some sticks there, other than that, I really had very few things to gripe about with this episode. How about you, Davey?
Yeah, I really like this one. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 have been really strong for season 1 of It Welcome to Derry. I'm right there with you, Cecil. Love the black and white with the red highlight. I do love the grayscale Pennywise. It's an awesome look. And going back, what's really cool about going back to 35 is that we figured that that's where the next season is going to take place. So it's kind of cool they can plant seeds for some of the stuff and characters we're going to see in the next season. And then they'll probably do that in the next season where they'll plant seeds for the one before that. So it's a cool way to sort of, get ahead of themselves a little bit and give you an idea of where things might be going and what else they could reveal through the subsequent seasons. Loved the revelation there with Mrs. Kirsch. I thought that was pretty interesting. And I like that she's interplaying with Lily, because Lily's got this, like, the One Ring kind of attachment to that artifact dagger. And she seems to be very affected by everything that happened in the sewer. Other than just the obvious of what happened to all the kids, she seems to be affected in a totally different way, and it seems to be because of her closeness to the artifact, to the dagger, because she's carrying it around with her. So I like that, and I'm curious to see where that ends up going for sure. Guys, Chris Chalk as Dick Halloran. Yeah. Holy shit, dude, this guy, new layers every episode. He is a fantastic performer. And just like you guys said, frightened kid. It's like that moment that we left him in episode 5 where his grandfather, or Pennywise as his grandfather, just tapping into that memory, has just shook him right back to that age he was, whenever that was, as a kid. And so he's really kind of struggling and seems to have lost his stoicism, lost his cool, and is very much rattled. I'm right there with you at the end of the episode as well. There's a couple things that happen with the kids where I was just like, well, this place is supposed to be a secret, like it's supposed to be a speakeasy that's for a very selected group. It seems like everyone in the town knows where this place is. Even by the time we get to the very end of the episode, the mob knows, because like the police chief knows and all that. It'll be interesting to see who tipped him off. I want to know who that is that did that. And yeah, we've got some drama ramping up in Hanlon's life as well, between his wife and his son. So there's turmoil within that family. And I did notice in this episode they took a little bit of a break from the Native American storyline. I'm imagining that that's got to be coming back pretty strong. It was such a big part of episodes 4 and 5. I'm sure they purposely let it hang for a little bit because we're gonna get some drama with the black spot probably in this next episode. And hopefully we revisit the Native storyline because I think it's all got to kind of come full circle here at the end of season 1. So yeah, I mean, great episode, man. 2 left, and based on everything I saw in that mid-season trailer that you guys didn't watch, holy crap, there's a lot we haven't seen from that trailer. The next 2 episodes could be bonkers. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So if I just to touch on a couple things that you said, I maybe predict that the Native American stuff will perhaps come to a head in the final episode when I'm assuming the military is going to get closer to their objective, and it's going to be one of those things where like the Native American community are going to like form a human wall to stop them, or like step in after the military has sustained a certain level of casualty, I have a feeling maybe that. I don't think they'll focus on it too much more. I think we're going to get a lot of that in the 1908 season 3 stuff. So I think we'll get some, but I don't think it's going to be a tremendous amount more. But I do think they're going to be involved in the resolution of the season, considering, their lore is what is driving the military force in this season anyway.
Yeah, and we still don't know what happened to the young, long-haired native dude who was in the sewers, because we never got confirmation one way or the other what happened with him. So,
but another thing I wanted to mention is, as far as Kirsch goes, we obviously know that she survives until the old lady version of herself, which I like that her wardrobe in this was very reminiscent of her wardrobe as the old lady too, with the cardigan pullover and like the church sort of button down.
Oh, where Chastain goes and meets with her.
Yeah, exactly. But to that end, I was hoping that we would have seen a version of it, but either we're done with Mrs. Kirsch in this season now. I feel like her reaching with a bloody hand would be a good final image of her, knowing where she eventually ends up. But if we do get her again, I'm hoping that we maybe get a prototypical glimpse at the towering, nasty version of her that comes storming out of the shadows in the movie. I loved that, when she just, you big thump, 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 but it would be a younger version of that nasty iteration of her, I feel like that'd be cool, but that's just me wanting to see some of that nightmare imagery again. And there was one other thing you said that I wanted to touch base on too, but this is exactly why I interrupt, guys, because I know my memory sucks and I will miss something that I wanted to mention. But yeah, so getting back into it, I am the only one that I think I'm having an issue with kind of acting wise now is Lily, and it's not because of the actresses thing. I feel like right now her only job is to sit silently and react with glassy eyes while someone tells her something she didn't know before. Like that's pretty much what she had to do 3 different times in this episode, from getting yelled at by her friend to getting talked to by Mrs. Kirsch,
up in the attic.
to, I think there was one other moment as well, and like that's all she does now is react with really glassy eyes, and it's just gotten very uninteresting to me. So that's a bit of a bummer. I very much like Richie and Marge. I really like that. By the way, how weird is it that it's another Richie, right? Because it was Beep Beep Richie.
Yeah.
And like now we have
And
another
he
Richie.
he has some of the same, kind of.
No, I know, but it's
characteristics
just
and,
weird to be that on the nose with this dude's name. But maybe canonically it's Richie, and they didn't have a choice, So yeah, I really like that stuff. There's other stuff I want to talk about too, but specifically some of that, and when we get to the Pennywise bit, I'll talk more about that. But do you guys have any other moments you wanted to discuss? The Richie changing Marge's bandage, I really dug that scene.
No,
I thought that
yeah,
was great.
yeah, true. Yeah, and it kind of solidified the sweetness between the two of them, I think, and the fact that, and also when she stands up to the plastics, I think that was a really pivotal scene for her character fully embracing, because she'd been kind of straddling the line, one foot in the door with the, popular clique, and not sure if she's gonna, completely go back to being loyal to Lily and everything, but yeah, man, where she's just like, I am a freak, yo, check it out. I thought that was,
And that just made Richie fall further in love with her.
He's just like, hubba, hubba, be still my heart.
Yeah. Using her gross eye goop for the betterment of humanity.
Yeah.
I do like that, the last time that we see Lily, she's screaming, riding her bike down the street with that bloody palm on her back. So she is finally gets a chance to, like, really let that emotion out. And just based on what I've seen from that mid-season trailer, I do think that she is going to sort of lead the charge here, going into the next couple episodes. So maybe you'll get a little bit of something that you're kind of looking for there, Cecil. Hopefully that's how it plays out.
Yeah, and again, this isn't me harping on the actress. I feel like she's doing what the material has been given to her, and she's doing it well enough. It's a lot of the same note in this episode for me. Let's talk about the Bob Gray stuff. So the reason I like hearing Fuego talk about it is because he's been so deeply entrenched in the Stephen King lake of worlds, that it's interesting that he's on board with the Mrs. Pennywise, Ms. Pennywise stuff that's kind of happening. So it's interesting to me that the show can do things with such a sacred property that a constant reader is on board for, as opposed to just hating on, because it feels like that's all that happens when stuff is added to Stephen King stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, once again, it's nothing that is like taking away from the original lore. It's not doing something that contradicts it. It's in the realm of plausibility. I mean, sure, you could have had somebody who was. It's interesting the way that they're going. They're leaning much more so into it than in the book, though. The fact of somebody who took this form when he was kind of trying to be humanoid, so to speak, was obviously the real father of this girl, and she having trouble, separating the two, and that's just, some of the power that this entity actually has, is being able to manipulate by taking different forms and everything, and whether it's, taking control of someone like, Bevy's father, for instance, and just making him more volatile or whatever, or, just completely taking on a form of something that is not there at all. I'm not going to say that it's overshadowing how impressed I am with the Dr. Sleep tie-ins and how they're expanding on what is really, with Dick Halloran, just one scene in the book, one flashback, that Hanlon writes about. So the expansion of him, I think, has really been the strongest addition to the show. But this is not one that I'm going to get all pissed off and gripe about it. Oh, girly wise, whatever, I mean, because I've seen my fair share of female Pennywise cosplays at conventions since 17 and whatever. But this is one where I'm not entirely opposed to it. I actually think it's dare I say, clever writing. So
go ahead.
I think they do a really good job of weaving that in. I mean, I don't know the lore the way that you do, Fuego, but it seems like it is it fits in with everything else that they've done. So for whatever reason, I was like, this passed the smell test right here.
Yeah, and so I'm digging how it's all going, and trying to think. I don't know if there's other moments besides the Pennywise stuff that I want to talk about, so maybe it'll come up naturally. But that Dick Halloran scene is so good, but we kind of already touched on it. So the Pennywise stuff is kind of an extension of what Fuego was just talking about with, I'm not going to say girly wise, but now that's in my head. Just because it's easy, like Girl Busters, the 2016 Ghostbusters. But I really like, it makes a ton of sense, right? It's her dad, and what I liked was the backstory that led to the black and white flashback, where we learn that she once took a little girl down to the sewers in order to try and lure it out to show her father, because she thinks that it's just her father that's down there, even though she kind of knows it's not her father, but she just wants to see her father, and she knows what it is after. So she takes a little child down there to try and lure it out. But then once it emerges, it's not her father as such, and it's something much scarier, and she's like, wait, I can't just sacrifice this little girl. And so she tries to escape with her, but as they go, the little girl trips, and she don't give a fuck, or doesn't notice. She keeps running, and then Pennywise slams a door separating them, leading to... Well, first off, as they're running, like, it was really... Like, some people I know are going to hate on this, but I quite liked it. Like, as kind of silly as it is, it makes sense. He's being a clown, and he was running like this. You know, and, like... I know that's going to annoy some people and think it's stupid, but when you do this, but you have a shark's mouth, it's still fucking unnerving to me. Like, and the whole time he was chasing it is like that same shark's mouth, and I really, really dig that look. I think it's so fun. And I like that he's got his own movements. Like, there's a whole trend on TikTok right now where it's the Pennywise strut, where it's the thing where he... You know, when he basically started walking towards the kid that breaks his arm in 2017, and he's got that, you know, that interesting gait and that, you know, kind of showmanship.
Yeah, Eddie.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know. I love the movement choices that Bill... I don't know if Bill's being directed to move this way or if this is just stuff he's bringing to the table, but I love it. And again... It was all black and white, this imagery, except for the red balloon and Pennywise's horrifying yellow eyes.
Yeah, and then he made the comp to Schindler's List already. I mean, I said Sin City. I was getting some of those vibes when I was watching it as well, which is another great
That yellow bastard, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and they have the blood is red as well, so you get that nice moment with the blood.
Beautifully red, like it shines. You know, it's so stylized, and I think it works so well.
Yeah, because
in
it
the
is very
flashback.
crimsony, but also there's a shimmer to it as well. You know,
exactly.
glossiness to the darker rouge of reds.
Yeah, it's. I mean, blood itself is actually a lot more matte to it. It's not that shiny, you know. So it's very stylized, but I love it. I think it looks so cool. But I mentioned during the watch along too that someone needs to cosplay the grayscale Pennywise with just the yellow eyes, because I have for years, and I have the parts to do it, but I still need to get a grayscale. I want to do Super Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
Right.
I have the sweater, I have a grayscale glove, I have black pants, and I have black boots. But I need a black fedora and I need a grayscale painted Freddy mask that I can put over my face. Then I can actually do, you know, because it's a grayscale Freddy, and I love that. So someone needs to do a grayscale Pennywise. I think that'd look so fucking dope.
It would look great.
What else do you guys want to talk about from this one? Because I'm just going to keep gushing if I keep talking.
Well, I really liked in that scene specifically some of the CG that they're using. You know, when he goes to the shark mouth. It's a very quick action that he takes, and they cut it really nicely to where you see like the jump, and then it cuts from the jump, so you get like a little startle, and then they move to the next shot, which I think is an effective way to utilize stuff like the CG. I also think another point where the CG worked well when Lily sees like her dad.
The desk, because
that looked. Yeah. That maybe they lingered on it too long when they went back to it, but the initial point, like I jumped a little bit when they did that at first.
Yeah, it startled me as well.
And the music during the black and white scene, like right after that jump that I'm talking about with Pennywise, and you know, Mrs. Kirsch and the little girl start running. There was some really good score with like strings and everything like that, which I really love hearing strings, because a lot of horror movies now, and like the sound design's great on the show, but they do rely on some of those like kind of like just spooky sounds. Like it's just sort of a trendy thing. I love hearing like old school strings. Really ramps up the tension for me. And I mean, I gotta mention the needle drops continue to impress. They had that pretty little angel eye or whatever, like right after the Barb stuff, like right after she stands up to the mean girls and all that. So I love that era of pop music, and they're working it in really well. And last thing I'll say, beautiful symmetry in a lot of these shots. You know,
She was
the
coming
attic of
upstairs.
Mrs. Kirsch's,
Yeah.
the shot of the kids riding their bikes along the pond as they go to the black spot. There was like a really nice like landscape there of like the wetlands. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're homaging Kubrick because he did The Shining and stuff, and he's very symmetry based and like everything he shot. You know, especially the stuff in the attic. I'm like, man, I'm getting those Kubrick kind of vibes. So whether or not that's done on purpose, I think to me it feels like a nice little like wink and homage to somebody who's you know, played in King's world and did it really well, even though King doesn't think so.
Yeah. I mean. Show continues to impress for me. You know, we had a bit of a rocky. Well, yes and no. We had a bit of a rocky start. Like I thought 1 was good. I thought 2 was better because
Yeah,
it
I
was
did too.
more emblematic of what the show
3
was going
is
to be.
really like the
3 is the only kind of dip
redheaded
for me.
stepchild,
Yeah, 3 is
you
the
know?
only
Yeah.
dip.
Yeah.
I really liked 4, 5, and 6 so far. I'm hopeful that 7 and 8 will stick the rest of the show.
Yeah, which
but
King is notorious for not sticking the landing
Yeah,
right. So,
yeah,
which
that-
I don't always think so. I mean, Revival ends wonderfully. There's various others, you know, that he figured out how to how to end
Dreamcatcher?
them. Yeah, the Running Man, the actual ending of the Running Man. I mean, shit, dude.
It's the toughest part, man. The ending is the toughest. It's the solution of the problem. If you take your math equation of a story, and that's the difficult thing to find, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, again, I won't say anything, but based on what I've seen from that mid-season trailer, like, God, I want to say everything to you guys, but I won't.
Yeah,
I do think that I think it's gonna just continue to ramp up and get really exciting here.
Yeah, and the tough thing with King, why I think he has difficulty ending things, is because he has claimed throughout his entire career he doesn't work off outlines. He just lets it flow. So it's not like he plots out a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know, he just lets it take him where. I mean, maybe that was a little bit more exciting when he was still using substances, but
Lets the LSD take
yeah,
him wherever.
exactly. Would you like some more LSD? Yeah, but I think that's one of the reasons why he's had difficulty over the years. But you know, with this, you know, a very trained writers' room of television peeps, you know, hopefully they can figure it out and leave us with enough like little breadcrumbs for season 2 going to 35. So.
I'm going to be very interested to see what happens because unless they really fumble the ball, they're definitely going to make seasons 2 and 3. And
Ratings have been really high,
considering
so
the
I don't see that
considering
not
the
happening.
popularity, like I don't know how they're going to stop after 3 unless they're going to go further back or go to 2044. You know, maybe see what things are like there.
Or they branch into other Stephen King properties that have been mixed into this world of Derry, some of which we might not have seen yet.
If they did a season-long Shining,
Well,
like I think that's the only way to get
they
away
have an
with doing the
Overlook show
Shining.
in development right now, which is a
Okay.
prequel series.
Okay, yeah.
So-
Well,
Dude,
yeah, 'cause
I will take all the
Shining,
Chris
no one,
Chalk.
no one will make another Shining movie after Kubrick. Like no one's
Well,
going to do
Stephen
that
King
again.
tried to do the miniseries in the 90s.
I said what I said.
With the guy from Wings.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And he
Stephen
wasn't.
Webb or
He
whatever.
wasn't that bad, you know.
Kiss
but
him,
the boy.
that's what all
Oh
the-
yeah. The
listen.
boy. The boy who played Danny, I did not like quite as much. But
Why? Just
But-
because his front teeth are bigger than his fucking face?
well, and they also did a little bit better of a job in my estimation on that one with you know with the wife, but she wasn't.
Rebecca De Mornay is dope.
Yeah.
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 I think
couldn't remember
Chris
actress's
Chalk, if they do something with Dick Halloran, like this guy, like I'll go wherever
Yeah.
he takes that character. I'll at least give it a chance.
Although-
Because I'm really digging what we're seeing.
It's tough because you know he's going to survive anything that he gets into until The Shining.
True.
Oh, he survives in the Shining book. You know?
No, but I'm saying,
yeah.
you know, anything that happens in between now and The Shining.
Oh
you
yeah,
know
and
he's-
that's the tough thing with prequels, you
Yeah.
know, because they often are low stakes in said regard. So yeah.
But it'd be interesting to kind of make Dick the guy that keeps trying to help in supernatural situations and
At the
keeps
Overlook.
failing.
Yeah.
Not just at the Overlook. Like, maybe he goes to a town where a young high school girl fucking sets her high school on fire. and he has to help her after that.
Well, remember, he's
you know?
in Florida in The Shining, so, you know, you would imagine he spent a decent amount of his time in Florida, you know, between that and Colorado.
Well, that's what I'm
and so
saying.
who knows
Like,
what else he could have
you could have Dick
gotten
wander
involved
into
in.
a bunch of different Stephen King stories.
Crossover
and-
with Duma Key, man, you know, bring it.
See, yeah, there's a
Love
whole bunch
Duma
of
Key.
properties from King we haven't even seen yet.
Yep, Duma Key, Revival, just name it, Rose Madder, which is great.
I want to see a new Needful Things. I think Needful Things is a perfect
Max
way
von
to do.
Sydow was pretty
Can I
damn good
finish
as
what I was
Leland,
gonna
though. Yeah.
I think Needful Things would make for a great basis of a anthology story in and of itself,
Well, that,
where you
yeah.
do it like it's the Warrens' haunted room, where every object in Needful Things is like bought and taken, and you show that person's life get totally fucked up by the object, and it's like just 8 monkey's paw episodes with different objects in every episode. I think that'd be pretty dope.
It's a big enough book where,
Yeah.
I mean, you could pivot around and, you know, fill in some gaps, make up your own stuff. I love Needful Things. I think it's great. You know, Leland is
And I
awesome
think it was a
villain.
waste to throw it in just haphazardly into Castle Rock, you know? I was like, oh, such a waste. But yeah, anyway, so we've been talking about not it shit
we
for
have
like 5
totally
minutes now,
taken
so.
a
We
you know,
have
little rabbit trail.
derailed.
So yeah, let us know what your thoughts are on episode 6 of It Welcome to Derry, guys. Thank you very much for watching, especially if you've watched all the way up to this point. We will be back for episode 7 and of course episode 8 after that. And we're also covering the last season of Stranger Things, so if you're interested in that, check out our coverage of that as well. Thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, Jaime Fuego.
And I've been Davey Deathray.
And until next time, remember, stay scared.
Stay scared.